Hello everyone, my name is Norbert Palimak and I'm CEO of the ESPA Charity Foundation in Poland, Legnica. Today I have a special guest with me. His name is Samuel Nawali from Nakuru, Kenya, East Africa.
Indeed, indeed.
Hello Sami.
Hello to you.
It's good to have you in Poland with us.
Thank you, I'm loving it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so far so good.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. I'm happy. Let's talk about a little bit of what you are doing in Kenya, about your organization and the ministry you are involved in.
Yeah.
I would be happy for our audience to get some more information about it.
Wonderful. Yeah. Just like my friend Norbert has said, my name is Sami Nawali from Nakuru, Kenya, East Africa. And by the grace of God, I run a number of charitable institutions or projects back in Kenya. I started with an orphanage. The need for education came and we started a primary school. Then it grew into a high school. Now we have a college. And alongside that, we do small businesses. We've developed an industrial park where we create employment for folks within our community. Yeah.
Great. Tell us, how long have you been involved with helping children?
I've been involved with helping children. Officially, this is my 20th anniversary, but I used to do a little bit, pockets here, pockets there, of working with kids before I registered the institution. And that goes down about 5 more years. So altogether, it's been about 25 years, just working with the children, trying to give them a future. And I just love what I do.
Great, thank you. How did it all begin for you? What inspired you to do this work?
That's a big story behind it, because I personally became a beneficiary, having done life on the streets, grew up on the streets, and I get to a point where I was about 13 years old, where someone gave me an opportunity to go back to school, and that has been the inspiration and the driving force behind me doing what I do, creating opportunity for the kids from the streets and working with the kids.
But can you tell us a little bit about your family background, where you come from? What is the family situation? What was the family situation? How did it all begin with your story?
The background of the story is I come from this very humble background where I'm the last born in a family of 8 kids. My father, my mother, and then they had 3 boys and then 4 girls, and I became the summary, which is 8th born. So my parents had 8 kids, me being the last born, and my sisters will share the story with me and say, brother, you bad luck, because after you born, dad could not cope up with the family. We only had to do life together for 9 months, and dad jacked the whole family away. He sent my mother with all the kids out of the house, and my mom had to start a life by herself. So I've been brought up by a single mother, and 3 brothers, 4 sisters. That's my family. And they were a very good and big blessing to me. They all looked after me, being the last born. But things changed down the road. My mama was involved in activities that were illegal, just to make sure there's food on the table. During the day, she wasn't home. She was out in the bush doing her business. At night, she's home brewing the local blend of alcohol, which was some pure lethal spirits that you test them by pouring a little bit on the table, set it on a match and set a blaze, and it just becomes a big flame. And that's how you tested that liquor. It was something dangerous and it wasn't very good. But within the community where I grew up, 90 to 95% being single mothers, our older brother and sisters became our role models. They're the ones that really brought us up. Personally, I looked up to my brother. My older brother was my hero. And looking up and doing life with him, it was amazing because he loved me dearly. He would go out of our house, which was literally 14 feet by 14 feet, where the sitting room is the bedroom, it's a kitchen, it's a dining, and it's a business area. I had just started education, the elementary stage and nursery. Age 7, things were running smooth. In the middle of age 8, I remember my brother going out. But this time, he never came back home. But every time he would come home, he was a big, big blessing to me because he pushed the door wide open, and with him would be a packet of sweets. He threw the packet of sweets to me, I'll duck the packet of sweets, and I'll run outside the house with a huge smile on me. And when I went out, I'll be sharing sweets with my peers, my age mates, 8-year-old boys and girls around me. I'm sharing the sweets with them. But in reality, what I really didn't know is that this was also making me a gang leader amongst my peers. And it was common. All the boys my age mate, they wanted to be in good books with me. So they'll do what I asked them or requested them to do because I had already to be in good books for the sweets tomorrow. Okay, just a moment. So they had to be in good books with me for the benefit of the sweets tomorrow, just in case. But I remember age 8, in the middle of it, my older brother went to do his usual stuff, but he never came back home. He went out in his gang. Instead of him coming back home, my mom comes home screaming. I am at the corner. My mom comes into the house. She picks this scarf that she had and she leaves the house running. And I, being the mama's boy, the last born, I follow my mom, screaming as she screams. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know where she was headed, but it's my mother. I followed her, and she ends up in this rubble of stones. She starts picking the stones one by one, getting them off, and I join her in removing the stones. By the time we get down there, it's my brother. He had been stoned to death and buried under the stones. Mob justice administered on him. By the time we get him, he's ready for the morgue. For me, that was kind of the end of my story. That kind of put a stop into my life. I really felt like I have lost it. And we went back home. I kept going to school until age 9, when I felt like I really don't want education anymore. I really don't feel like I have a reason to continue with life, and I chose to leave home. I walked from home to the streets. My age mates, my peers, the boys and girls that used to follow me, they followed me on the streets, and we became street children by choice. Homeless by choice. On the streets, we scavenged in bins to get food. We kept ourselves warm under a bonfire made out of worn out car tires the soot all over us. We end up being darker than usual. We had to work for the older guys for protection. So all this dirty stuff was done by us. You know, we sell the drugs for them, we mug for them, and at the end of it, they reward us. They give us a bit of money, and we are safe. That became my life. At the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and again something happened, and that's what really transformed my life. And for me, I remember waking up in the early afternoon, and life was really, really something else. I woke up with some hangovers. I got into my pockets. I didn't have any money. The boys that had woken up early had taken all the money in my pockets. And Nakuru, being my home, is very, very common or famous for tourists. It's a touristic destination. So the easier way that we knew of how to make money when you really need quick money is stand by the main road towards the national park. As the tourists pass, you just stretch your hand to them and ask them for a shilling. The language was a shilling, please. And many of them, because of the way we looked and kept untidy, they'll try to avoid you as much as they can. Some of them will try to make it real quick, get in the pocket, get the coin and toss it to you so that nothing happens, which is odd. But the unique thing is, on this particular afternoon, I woke up with my hangovers. I realized no money. I go to the main road towards the national park. I stand gazing, and the very first tourist that comes my way, I stretch my hand to him. A shilling, please, as usual. And this man was quite unique. He never gave me the shilling. No. He never walked away from me. No. Instead, he came towards me. He stretched his hand, and I stretched my hand, and we shook hands. I thought this was my day, and surely it was my day, but it wasn't the way I thought it would be. And this gentleman asked me a simple question: why are you not in school? Straightforward answer: money. I thought he'd give me the coin and go. No. And then he asked me the second question: if I take you to school, pay the money, would you be willing to get education? I nodded my head, signifying yes, but in reality, I really didn't want education. What I wanted was a coin. Give me the money and I'm done. But this man never let go of my hand. Instead, he walked with me to the nearest school. He talked to the proprietors of the school. Basically, I think they accepted me at the school. Then he walked with me to the nearest shopping center. But what he did for me there was really what transformed my life completely. Because number one, he took me into a barber shop. I got cleaned, I got a good shave, and some clothes to change. And then the next bit was he took me into a shoe shop. I never worn a pair of shoes in my life at 13. And this gentleman buys me a brand new pair of shoes. Now, that made me feel special. That made me feel loved. That made me feel wanted. I felt unique. And with that, feeling those goosebumps of being that special boy, this man could manipulate me as he wanted. He took me by the school, he bought me school uniform, school bags, school books, and took me back to the school. And he paid all the money to cover my primary level. And at the end of it, I was back in school. One of the teachers knew my home. He took me back home. I never left home. I was so mesmerized, excited about the new shoes. I was amongst the only kids within my village who had shoes. I would wake up in the morning in Mama's house, put on my shoes, and dash to school. It didn't matter whether there was food or no, whether there's a cup of tea or no, but the fact that I had shoes and I would walk out and the rest of the kids would look at me and think, lucky one, that was enough. I went to school, I covered my primary level and my high school level. I was back home in my family, and that's my family life. Yeah.
That's a story. You have your personal life and experience, and I know there are many kids like that in Kenya. Can you share with us what's the percentage of the kids in Kenya like living on the streets without education?
Apparently, I'm not the only boy who was on streets, like I said before. I went on the streets with lots more of the kids, my peers, my gang. We all ended up on the streets. But there's so many other kids still moving on the streets, doing life on the streets. The street has become their home, and we even have street families back home, because when you think in the West, we've got the welfare status where the government gives back to some of the people who don't get, who've got no jobs, but out there is everyone for himself. So some people, if the kid is struggling to get food in the mama's house, there's an easier option is to run to the streets where they feel I'll be able to get food there. And then we've got the challenges of single parenthood. When you're brought up with your single mother and then she gets married to another man, many a times in our culture, people look at this child that is not their biological child as just a mouth, another burden. And kids are kids. We human. We feel it when we are rejected. We feel it when we are unwanted. And the option is there is a way out on the streets. And we've got amazing, so many cases on the streets. We've got children that have been seared or born on the streets, out of the street families. We've got kids that lost their parents because many a times we've had clashes in the country after the elections, and that has really given us an influx of so many kids ending up on the street by the virtue of parents dying. Now, sometimes it's where parents cannot afford to pay rent, and if they can't afford to pay their rent, then their kids, everyone goes their way, they end up on the streets. Another case is where the parents can't afford to take their kids to school, because as simple as not having school uniform, you're not allowed to school. As simple as not having a textbook you send home from school. Sometimes it's not what the parents choose, but it's what the circumstances have dictated to the parents. And you find a lot of this. And unemployment is massive in the country.
I heard that it's about 40%, is that right?
Yeah, it's almost 40% when you're talking of unemployment. But it could be even bigger than that, because so many do what they have to do to survive in their own style. And it's even becoming harder. That having been said, in the country, we have opportunities where we have religious-based institutions or churches that have started their schools, and they're doing very well, but they're limited. We have the government-run schools, but they're still limited. We still need to chip in to get into this institution as students, as kids. And as we do that, it becomes very expensive. So that pushes again kids on the streets, kids on the streets. So we have a huge population, and it's growing with each passing day, which is not very, very good. But we are doing what we can to fight it and to see the situation come to control.
So now we go to the project that you are running with the schools, with the kids, with the orphans, the street kids that coming to your organization, to your place, to your orphanages, and you offer them a school and the food on the table. Can you share us a little bit how it works?
Yeah, I run an orphanage, and within the orphanage, that's where I started my project, where I got these kids from the streets and gave them shelter, then found the need for education, because education is a common equalizer. Now, the way we do it back home, it's completely in a special way, because I work in partnership with friends from different places, and Norbert has been an amazing one, helping with a bit of that when we come to child sponsorship. We do the child sponsorship where the kids that we are having in our institution, we have friends who choose to sponsor them individually. Not all of them are sponsored. We still need a number of people to join in. But the sponsorship really is a partnership that really means a lot, because it gives us a guaranteed income where we are able to budget and work with. It comes in a common basket, and out of that we're able to get resources to pay the teachers. We get the resources to buy the food, because we give them food, resources to buy the school material, and resources to do still the repairs and construction of broadening the classes, or widening the scope of the classes, and the infrastructure that we use for education. So we're really grateful, because it's out of the partnership that we are able to do this project. Out of it, we found a goodwill, and friends have really meant a lot. You could be one of them, and it really means a blessing to us. Thank you, because it really makes a difference for us.
Yeah, so in this case, please tell us how we can help you, what we can do to support children in Kenya.
We definitely would appreciate us teaming together. My friend Norbert runs this organization, and he organizes a number of projects. Number one, there is a shoebox where you package the gifts, and once every now and then you ship them, and we are able to share with the kids. Those puts a smile on our children. When you get a gift from someone else, you get to understand that you're not alone, you're not walking alone. The other side is the child sponsorship, where you register with his organization, and you are able to give monthly contribution towards the well-being or support of our education. And that in return, we're able to get our kids, where you partner with them and they do you a thank you letter, and 3 times a year they'll give you a note, or they'll communicate with you. That is in April around Easter, and then August school holiday, and December around Christmas time. You'll be able to get letters or information or communication or even videos from our end to you saying thank you, and be able to show you how much of a difference your contribution or your giving is making within our community.
So Sammy, tell us how many kids do you have right now at schools?
We've got the orphanage, which we're talking of the smaller orphanage, 167 students or kids. We've got where we house the boys and the girls that are over 18, because once you hit 18, you're not supposed to stay at the orphanage. So we've got about 40 of them plus who are staying there. They've gone through the small school, they've gone through the high school, and they've just graduated. They're still kids because they're going through colleges and universities. They belong, and we number them. Talking of them, we're talking of over 200 kids. But within the primary school, we have our own kids from the orphanage and kids from the community all come together, and we've got over 240 students. And then we have a high school where we have our own kids from the orphanage as well and the kids from the community, and we're talking of over 250. But the high school is still under construction, and the facility there has a potential of us developing to an extent of holding a capacity of 1,200 students. That is our goal, God helping us if we are able to put in the necessary structures that are planned for within the facility. And that's a massive difference. It will make a huge difference within our community. We also have a college where, by the grace of God, again, we're able to bring in kids that are blind, the deaf, and other kids that did not really perform well academic-wise when they did their O-level, their final in high school. Normally, these ones are treated as rejects because they don't get places to go for college or unwanted. But we discover that these guys are resourceful, and we are introducing courses within the college that is able to mentor them, nurture them, to become resourceful to the society and to have a future for themselves. And it's so good to be able to do that with these kids. Such a huge blessing.
I had the privilege to visit your place last March, and I was impressed by the work you are doing there.
Oh, thank you.
So I saw the potential of the place and the schools that you are running.
Yeah.
But did you ever count how many students graduate your projects, your schools?
Number one, I'm grateful that you are there with us, because we are talking out of something that you've witnessed. As you bear the witness, you've been at the center of it. It's not just a story or an imagination. And it's amazing. The primary school has had 100 of kids come through, because we've been running it for the last 20 years. And now the high school as well has come now after the high school, and almost the last 12 years we've been running the high school, 10 years we've been running the high school, and we're seeing very good progress. I can look into it and tell you, look at some of the teachers in our primary school, some in high school, they've come from our school. These are kids that we took from the streets, gave them an opportunity to dream, join the school, go through the high school, go through the college, and now they're coming back to give. I never believed that these things are going to come together. I never personally imagined that's what I'll be doing in life. But just like a jigsaw, over time, you find every puzzle falling into, every piece falling into place, and then we've gotten to a point where we're saying, wow, look at this coming together. Now we can see a bigger picture, and it's very clear. We're able to understand what is happening now. But having friends like yourself come and see us, spend time with us, be part and parcel of the daily operations out there, it really is a blessing. And I'm happy we're making a difference in the life of these kids there.
Wow, that's really impressive. And I remember visiting you. I saw some other projects that are supporting your small community, and like a water project, like ugali, like a bakery, doing like a chicken farm. Can you share a little bit more with us the projects that you also run for this local community?
Wonderful. Yeah. We run quite a number of projects alongside just the fact that we depend on donors here and there. The long-term goal is to become self-sustaining. And because there's scarcity of jobs in the country, we have also evolved into developing ourselves into the essence of value addition. Now we talk of value addition because we've got water that we drill the borehole on the facility. Before we drilled the borehole within the facility or sunk the well within the facility, folks or people within the facility used to, within the area, the village, would go about 7 kilometers away fetching for water.
That's a long distance.
It is a long distance walking. And before we sank the well, the community really didn't want us there because they felt like we are bringing street kids there. And that becomes a nuisance. The street kids are unwanted. Yeah, they feel they're rejects, and people feel, why are you bringing us the misfits within the society here? But by the grace of God, when we sank the well, the community, the elders within the community came to us and told us, you know, we're sorry for the way we've been treating you, but we now understand God brought you here for us. You're an answer to our prayer. And we became accepted within the community. And then the community started becoming part and parcel of it. Now they wanted an opportunity also to get some form of employment within the work, the things that we do. And it's quite strange because we started with the water. We sank the water. Everyone is happy. And then we started piping this water into people's homes. And then at the end of it, the water was metered because there is the maintenance, and we still have to pay the bill to the government for the amount of water that we draw out. We charge the people a little bit of money, but we pump the water into their homes so they don't have to come and queue around us to give them water. The other thing that we do is we add value to the water. So we process it through the reverse osmosis, and you purify the water, and it's ready, becomes mineral water, ready to drink with the standard specifications or parameters that the World Health Organization gives. And it's just amazing to see that happening. Now, out of that, we've also developed, because we depend on agriculture, we harvest or we plant a lot of maize. And maize, out of it we get the corn flour or maize flour, which makes ugali. Ugali is the main food that every Kenyan will go for, ever in demand. If you don't give us ugali, we feel like you're starving us when you're back in Kenya. So the kids love it very much. And people would come literally from as far as Nairobi, Mombasa, to come and buy our maize when we harvest it around our community. But the embarrassing thing is, because we didn't have storage, there is an influx of it when we harvest, because we all harvest once. When we're harvesting it, the prices go down the lowest possible, and everyone would buy it and ship it to their own areas, like in Mombasa, where they've got all these milling plants and like. Apparently, it's embarrassing just to say that within a short time, like 3 months, then you realize we've spent all the money that we gained or we received out of selling the maize, and then the flour that is the product that has come from maize comes packed within our community. And you find people who are the raw material farmers who have grown the maize cannot even afford the flour. So people are hungry, and these are the people that have produced it. So we decided, because the price comes after 3 months, goes up more than double, we decided, why not think of value addition of this crop as well? So we developed a warehouse and equipped our machinery, and now we are adding value to that, where within the community we want to come up with a cooperative where everyone, instead of selling their maize at the wrong time, they can hold it and we can help them store it. And when the time is ripe, then they can sell it at a higher price. This will enable them to hold their families. Their kids don't go hungry so that they don't go on the streets. So that's another way of us working out that. At the same time, they are able to pay for school fees or buy the resources for their children. If they've got their farm and they've got their producing, they're able to sustain their family, they're able to put food on the table. And that is a massive difference. So the value addition side of things has come together in a very, very big way, and it's very, very, very helpful. We also have a bakery where we do our own buns and bread, and it's just awesome because it creates another opportunity for the folks to work there. We've condoned this area, and we call it the industrial park, where we just want any idea that we know we can put our heads together to add value on what we produce. We just don't produce it and let it go and sell it as it is, because by then we sell it really cheap, but we want to try and add value bit by bit so that at the end of it, our community grows together. We call ourselves Rainage International Center, and the whole essence about Rainage International Center is about developing a healthy and a working community. And that's our heart. We want to make sure that people are really working and they're doing life in a healthy way, not just off the hospitals, but in a healthy way, in an essence that they get the basic needs, they are able to get their food, they're able to get shelter, basic needs are catered for, and then they're able to supply.
But when I was there, I still remember the taste, the flavor of the bakery, the bread that you are doing. That was something very special for me, and unique one. I had the pleasure to be there during the processing.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that something happened, that you stopped this activity because of the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Can you share what influence is from the outside for your bakery, for your local production?
We used to have bumper harvest at the bakery. Production was very, very high because the raw material was readily available. Mm-hmm. And apparently in Kenya, before the war in Ukraine, would import lots of wheat and cooking oil from Russia and Ukraine, including fertilizer. Mm-hmm. And when the war started, everything tripled, the prices.
Wow.
And we lost our capital because there's no way you could triple the price of bread. It was just, no one could buy, they couldn't afford. And the farmers couldn't really produce, they couldn't maximize on their production. Mm-hmm. Because there's no fertilizer at the same time.
This is an example how the war influenced really the world, even the life of the children in Africa. We are thinking just in Europe that this is our case, but it's not. It's actually a much bigger picture.
It is a bigger picture, actually. When you reckon this, sometimes we say the world has become a village. Some of the things that happens here, the ripple effect, there's repercussion as far as in Africa. Mm-hmm. So the war has really had effect on us. Yeah, we've been depending on the harvest, on the farming project, but without the fertilizer, you don't maximize on your farm. Mm-hmm. The output is minimized. And we really didn't have enough for the fertilizer, including the prices of fertilizer tripled. We used to buy them 5,000, 2,500. It went up to 5,000 to 7,000, buying a bag of 50 kg of fertilizer, and wow. It was bad. It was bad, and with time things are changing. We've reverted that. At the moment, when you came, we're just doing the bakery, but we have very, very small production that goes back to just mm-hmm. the children for feeding ourselves and the like. But we've not really gone back to the industrialization as such, or mass production, because we still don't have the capital to do that. that's something else we could do.
So,
With
Sam,
in a big way.
yeah, thank you for sharing this. You spent already a few days with us here in Poland. You know us a little bit as a Polish people.
Yeah.
We already agreed to support you more than we did in the past.
Yeah.
Actually, our story is much longer because we know each other already about 7 years.
Yeah.
And we, as a ESPA organization, supporting you. But if you can share something or say something to our audience in Poland, how people in Poland can support you and help you, or what are your comments about your time and visit in Poland?
Number one, I must appreciate you guys in Poland. The last time I came here was about 7 years ago, and it was in winter, really, really cold. So having been here for the last few days, I thought people complain about the cold, and I felt, oh, they really shouldn't be complaining about the cold because I know what it really means to be cold when you are here. But I really appreciate the heart and the generosity of the people out here. They've received me in a very positive way. They've given me a platform to share with them in one area or another, and it's been very, 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 very good. But the reality is, guys, we never choose where to be born. It just happens. We never choose our parents. It just happens. And for you guys, we look up to you and think, you privileged. You've got good progress out here, development, prosperity. And we'll definitely reach out to you and say, a little help from you will make a massive difference. Sometimes you never understand just a small thing that you do to someone, how much you are able to help them realize or pursue their dream out of that. For me, it's one gentleman who helped me from the streets. I never had an opportunity to tell him thank you. But the ripple effect of it, the multiplying factor, today, it is as a result of this gentleman that I am able to have an orphanage with hundreds of kids, have a school that benefits hundreds of kids, develop opportunity for small businesses for my community, help and grow things. If this man never believed in me, all these could have remained wishes. Nothing of this sort would be happening. The little thing that you can do by just saying, I want to sponsor a child, you never know what that will become in the near future. That could be the seed that will help change the world for better. So, my brothers, my sisters, you guys in Poland, we're reaching out to you. If there is a way you can sponsor someone, please join in the team and help us with the child sponsorship. If you can do a package with the shoebox, join in and help us do these gifts that will go beyond just Kenya. If you also have a neighbor and you see their situation wanting, please help them by meeting that need. Believe in people, believe in humanity. Together, we can make this world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. It was really a big privilege for us to have you here.
What a blessing.
And
what a blessing.
See you soon.
Thank you. I'll definitely be back.
Thank you.
Wonderful.